Video games are fun, like really, really fun. RPGs, FPS, RTS, whatever kind of entertainment you're looking for, there's probably a game that suits your taste. And that's not surprising because that's what they were designed for, entertainment. But one thing that I've always found interesting was how some people can be extremely dedicated to in-game achievements but are not able to apply the same level of dedication in real life. And that idea was brought up to me again when I watched HAIKYUU. More specifically, the character of Kenma Kozume. His lack of enthusiasm for volleyball is the complete opposite of Hinata Shoyo or Kageyama. But what he brings is an interesting vision towards volleyball and life that is heavily influenced by the realm of video games.
走るのは嫌い。でも、走る時の景色と走りながら考えることはちょっと好き。
And this has brought me to ask the following question. Can we increase our dedication for real-life goals if we apply certain aspects of video game psychology? I believe so. But to answer that question, we need to determine what makes video games so compelling. There are many reasons why we may find video games fun. One reason could be escapism. Some people find comfort in video games as it allows them to escape from their day-to-day stress. Video games can be a time of relief from unpleasant realities. Others appreciate the fun and social environment of cooperating with others and the bonding experience. Working towards a goal with other peers can be a lot more fun than doing it alone. You may also enjoy the sense of freedom that it gives you, as we can take on the role of anyone we want in a fictional world like Minecraft or a lifelike one like Grand Theft Auto. Games simulate situations that we would never have experienced without them. Who wouldn't want to be an Italian plumber that eats magic mushrooms and saves a princess? But on top of all those reasons, the main one that is bringing out the best of us in terms of dedication is the sense of achievement we get from playing them.
Pentakill!
That is the main reason why video games are so compelling, because they present a challenge that is then followed by a sense of achievement. That sweet, sweet dopamine released in our brain when we experience success is what keeps us going for hours and hours. But that is obviously not all of it. On top of that sense of achievement and recognition, there are three particular attributes that differentiate in-game achievements from real-life ones. And the first one is having measurable progress. Progress bars for leveling up, the number of stages before the final boss, or the number of rounds before winning a game. They are all measurable and clear milestones that indicate gradual progress towards a final goal, and they are indisputable indicators that the effort and time we've put in were worthwhile. We feel rewarded every time we reach a milestone, as they signal success to our brain and are tangible evidence that we're getting closer to our final goal. Can you imagine if we removed all kinds of measurable progress from a game? It would be a lot more confusing to know if we're playing the game the right way, because there would be zero indicators to guide us towards our end goal. Kenma Kozume shares this perspective when he talks about the ambiguity of the word guts.
根性うるさいアバウトだよそんなにクリアできるゲームもできないしゲームと何の関係があんだこら戦略とか勝つために勝ちに必要なのが根性だろうが
His frustration stems from the fact that he doesn't know how to manifest it, and it is such a vague term that cannot be measured. Kenma, who shares the perspective of a video game character, cannot comprehend how Taketora fancies that word. And in real life, progress is often just as ambiguous. There's no guarantee that if we apply for a job 10 times, we would get it on the 10th try, or that we will reach our fitness goal after working out a specific number of days. Progress can't be measured most of the time. One of the few that I can think of that can be measured is graduation. We know how many classes we need to take, how many credits we need to earn, and how many years it would take us to graduate. And that is why we feel a sense of achievement when we pass an exam, a class, or finish a year, because they all indicate progress and are tangible evidence that we're getting closer to our final goal. The importance of measurable progress cannot be overstated. If we don't know whether we're doing the right thing, it's very difficult to keep ourselves motivated to continue. Milestones act as a compass for our goals, and that's why they are instrumental in keeping us motivated. So to apply this concept into our real-life achievements, we need to set out clear milestones between our starting point and our finish line. We need to first precisely state our end goal and expectations in terms of time and effort. I want to lose weight is not a specific goal. I want to lose 100 pounds would be more precise. But how long do I want to give myself? 6 months? A year? 5 years? The time frame I set for myself can drastically change my game plan. And how do I want to do it? By going to the gym or picking up a new sport? Doing it alone or with the help of a professional trainer? Or maybe just by changing my diet and eating better. You need to clarify what methods you're comfortable with. If you don't know where your target is, you can't aim and fire. Once our goal is precise enough, it will become measurable. And if it is measurable, it can be broken down into smaller goals, and those will become our milestones, our own personal, real-life progress bar. The smaller the milestones are, the clearer the actions we will need to take. Weekly or daily milestones are ideal. Going back to the goal of losing 100 pounds, most experts recommend a slow and steady rate of weight loss, such as 1 to 2 pounds of fat loss, or around 1% of your body weight per week. So that could be an example of a weekly progress bar. Now that our progress is measurable, each milestone feels a lot more within reach than simply one final goal at the end. But these milestones can still feel difficult to achieve. Losing 1% of body weight per week is not an easy task. How can we manage the level of difficulty like video games do to increase our motivation and our chances of success? This brings us to our second point. Accessibility. Another reason why video games are compelling to many of us is due to their ease of accessibility that is managed by the level of difficulty. Video games present the optimal balance between difficulty and reward to create a sense of triumph for the player. Too difficult and the player will stop trying. Too easy and it doesn't feel rewarding. That's why games adjust their rules and limitations to balance difficulty and rewards. Let's look at this short scene with Kenma to better understand how this balance can be displayed.
Kenma! Left!
バレた。あと一歩が途端に億劫なんだよね。腕2メートルくらい伸びればいいのに。
He specifically wishes for his arm to stretch 2 meters. At first glance, this sounds like a silly wish that is both unrealistic and childish. But that wish is actually a very appropriate rule for a video game. The wish would make his circumstances less difficult, but not to the point where success is guaranteed. Notice how he does not wish to win the game automatically or to teleport himself right under the ball, because those would make it too easy for him. But if he stays status quo, it's too hard to reach the ball as he is too tired. So he ends up wishing for something in between, something that will simply require less effort. The keyword here is less. Notice how it's not completely removing all effort, but reducing the level of difficulty just enough so that it feels within reach. And that is how video games keep us engaged, by balancing difficulty and rewards. Now, we can enforce this balance in real life for our personal goals. Our milestones need to feel within reach, and we can do so with one simple step: by lowering the bar. Not to the point where it becomes too easy, but only until it feels within reach. You need to actually believe you can do it to be motivated, but not too easy to the point of feeling unrewarded. This step is congruent with our first point. We went over the importance of creating milestones to help us measure our progress so we can aim before we fire. Milestones are, in a way, helping us lower the bar by creating smaller goals so our final goal feels within reach. But when those milestones are still too difficult for us, we need to lower the level of difficulty. We can do so by breaking down our milestones to match our capacity. Everyone moves at their own pace. Some people achieve their goals at 20-year-old, some at 60, and some at 45. Knowing that, it makes sense to build our own unique milestones. Don't compare your beginning to someone else's middle. If losing 1 pound a week is too difficult for you, then aim for 1 pound every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, or even every month. I use weight loss and fitness as an example because it is a common goal, but this applies to all kinds of goals. If you want to be, a video game streamer with millions of followers, well, how about you start aiming for 100 followers? Or by having a weekly goal to stream 5 days a week, or to stream for at least 5 hours straight. You can always break down your final goal into milestones and also break down those milestones into even smaller ones. For this to work, you also need to be honest with your effort and push your limits. If you tell yourself that jogging 10 minutes a week is the best you can do, then of course you'll never get there because you're not being honest with yourself. To test your limits, increase gradually your output until breaking point. Start by jogging 10 minutes, then 20, then 30, until you really feel like you can't do more. This is probably the most difficult step as it requires a lot of mental strength, but know that the only loser in this race, if you're not being honest with yourself, is you. So push yourself to your limits fully and honestly. And of course, it's going to take longer for you to reach your final goal, but if you keep at it, you will get there. If your goal is important to you, it will always be better late than never. And finally, the last attribute that differentiates video games achievements from real life ones are audio-visual cues. I stumbled upon this YouTube video recently. It's simply a video that plays all the PlayStation opening sounds and visuals. This video has close to 10 million views with 20,000 comments as of today. And a lot of the comments are about how the video makes them feel nostalgic, happy, free, anxious, or how it made them cry even. Audiovisual cues play a big part in video games. Think of the sounds and animations in front of you when you win a round or level up in a game. For any small or big milestones, success and achievements are always linked to a visual and or audio signal. And as we're exposed to those signals again and again, our brain starts attaching the feeling of success and sense of achievement to those cues. So every time we're exposed to them, our brain releases dopamine and it feels good. Those little cues are actually powerful triggers to our brain and are one of the main reasons why we find video games so compelling. In HAIKYUU, Kenma imagines himself being powered up when he jogs to motivate himself during practice.
Power up! あのツタ絶対登れるやつ。屋根の上には宝箱。
Kenma associated the imagery and meaning of the word power up to his in-game positive experience. He also uses the word level up when he refers to practice.
レベル上げやる？やる。
Leveling up in a video game means that your character is getting stronger, has access to stronger weapons, equipment, and is getting closer to the ultimate goal. With the positive experience Kenma associates with leveling and powering up in video games, he projects that same positive experience towards volleyball practice to reinforce that behavior. Neutral things in our lives can take on positive and negative associations with time. So what we need to do is to expose ourselves to specific audiovisuals when and only when doing a behavior that we want to reinforce. From the repeated exposure, our brain will associate those cues with that specific behavior. We can then use those audiovisual cues as triggers to kickstart the behavior we chose to reinforce. We can do so by, for example, setting up a quiet work environment with nice lighting and clean surfaces for your home office. A tidy image of your desk without distraction will help you be more productive and will become your audiovisual cue for productive sessions. We can also create a bedtime routine to condition ourselves to sleep earlier by dimming lights and playing nature sounds. Again, the audiovisuals created by the dim lights and sounds will condition you to sleep early the more you repeat that habit. You can also build a playlist with the songs that motivate you to work out. By playing those specific songs only when you work out, you can use those songs to kickstart your next workout sessions in the future. In the end, measurable progress, a balance for difficulty and reward, and powerful associations between audiovisuals and success are all contributing factors as to why we find video games so compelling. Understanding how video game psychology works allows us to incorporate some of those concepts into our day-to-day and into our real-life personal goals. So while Kenma Kozume is not the most enthusiastic character in HAIKYUU, he's definitely a very fun and interesting one to watch and was the inspiration for this analysis. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something useful. Feel free to let me know in the comments what you would like me to analyze in my next one. And remember that you can learn from anyone and everything. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.